What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. What an absolute thrilling game to watch today. Both offenses going back and forth the entire time. The defense gave me so much anxiety in this game. I really thought at the end of the game the Dolphins were going to lose, especially when Jason Sanders misses an extra point to go up 3 instead of going up by 2. But the defense at the end of the game held its own. Vic Fangio was getting outcoached the entire game by Kellen Moore, but at the end, he dials up 2 big blitzes to Justin Herbert, and our guys Christian Wilkins and Jalen Phillips get sacks. The first one was a combination of Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins getting sacks. But man, what a game and what a win for the Miami Dolphins to begin the season 1-0. They are 1-0 to begin the season, and Tua Tagovailoa, man, we are going to get into the stats. But I was watching the games today before this game came on at 4:25. And I was not blown away by any quarterback performance at all. Trevor Lawrence made a couple mistakes. He fumbled the ball. He threw an interception, which was tipped, but it wasn't his fault. His performance was fine. I was not blown away. And really, I didn't think any quarterback in that first slate had a great game. But Tua Tagovailoa amazed me today. He is him. And anybody who is still doubting Tua Tagovailoa, you are simply just doing it for hate. And my God, what a statement he made today. Tua Tagovailoa is better than Justin Herbert. And I'm going to live on that hill now for the rest of the season because he outperformed Justin Herbert today. And let's get into the stats before we get into this game because this game was a shootout. The final score is 36-34. In favor of the Miami Dolphins. Shout out to the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't really like the Chargers that much because of the whole Tua Herbert thing, but they played a great game today. The offense did, and it was just a thrilling game to watch, man. It was the best game in the first week of the NFL season, and man, we got so much Dolphins football for the rest of the season. Let's get into the stats, man. Tua Tagovailoa was 28 for 45, 466 yards, and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, which was a very bad pass and a pass that he should not have made. And this is not going to show up on the stat board, but I want to give massive shout-outs to Kendall Lamb and Austin Jackson because they had a very big task today to go up against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. The Dolphins' offensive line did not allow a sack all day long. Had a couple missed snaps with Connor Williams, which we will talk about. He's got me frustrated as well. But overall, man, this Dolphins' offensive line was very good today. Is it going to hold up for the rest of the season? I don't know. They got a couple games coming up against very good defensive lines, and we'll see when it comes to that time. But, man, they stepped up today, and they stepped up big. So a massive shout-out to the Miami Dolphins offensive line. Raheem Mostert, 10 carries, 37 yards, and 1 touchdown. And that was really it. The Miami Dolphins only ran the ball 20 times and had 70 yards. And my one criticism that I am going to make, because there's a lot of cleaning up to do, the Dolphins got to run the ball more. They have got to run the ball in certain situations. I don't want to watch 3rd and 2 and Tua throwing it to 3 defenders who are guarding Durham Smythe. I don't want to see that. You need to consistently run the ball. And Mike McDaniel, he lied to our face so far, saying that he's not going to abandon the run this season. Well, today, he abandoned the run. Ultimately, it worked out in a Miami W, but going into weeks into the season, He's going to have to run the ball more. But Tyreek Hill was unbelievable today. He's got a goal of getting 2,000 yards, and right today, he had 11 catches, 215 yards, and he had 2 big touchdowns, one in the third quarter and one in the fourth quarter to give the Miami Dolphins the lead right at the end of the game. A fucking dime from Tua to Tyreek Hill, with Tyreek getting covered by Michael Davis. An absolute dime on that play. Jalen Waddle had 4 catches for 78 yards. Durham Smythe had 3 catches for 44 yards. Mike Gesicki was not getting as much targets as Durham Smythe got in this game. Durham Smythe got 7 targets in this game from Tua Tagovailoa, which really shocked me. Braxton Berrios, shout out to him. He played great today, I thought. Made a really big catch on 3rd and 10. A couple third downs, actually, to keep the drive going at the end of the game for the Miami Dolphins. He was a difference maker. He was huge. 3 catches, 42 yards, and then River Craycraft had 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. For the Chargers, Justin Herbert, 23 for 33, 228 yards, 1 touchdown. Austin Eckler, 16 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Joshua Kelly, 16 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Just because we won this game, I'm not going to give criticism. Just because we won this game, I am not going to give criticism for the defense, because they deserve all the criticism. They looked bad out there. They looked like last year's Miami Dolphins defense. Except the difference is, when they had Josh Boyer, they were 4th in run defense. Today, they allowed 234 rushing yards. That cannot happen, because you are not going to win games getting into shootouts every single week. This week it worked, but the Dolphins' run defense was really bad today. And Vic Fangio has a lot of cleaning up to do when they get back to Miami tonight. And going into next week, he's got a lot of cleaning up to do. Keenan Allen had 6 receptions for 76 yards. Austin Eckler, 4 receptions for 41 yards. Mike Williams, 4 catches for 45 yards. Donald Parham Jr. had 3 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. We've got so much to get into, man. Let's get into it. First drive for the Miami Dolphins. Tua fumbled on the snap, but it was a penalty offsides for the Chargers. First play, initially, Tua went to Tyreek Hill for 16 yards. Tua then caught Jalen Waddle in the middle of the field. He sprinted 35 yards and got to the Chargers' 19-yard line. Savon Ahmed, 5-yard carry. Eric Ezekama end around for 12 yards, and then Tua Tagovailoa. A bad snap from Connor Williams. And the Dolphins fumble, and the Chargers recover it at the 6-yard line. Really, really bad play right there. Bad fucking snap by Connor Williams. You are getting paid to snap the football, and you cannot do that. He's a great blocker, but my man is having difficulty snapping the ball. And this was not the only time Connor Williams had difficulty snapping the ball today. The Dolphins do not have a legit center on this team. He did play like a top 10 center last season. Cried that he wanted to get paid this offseason. We're not going to pay him just because he had one good season. You got to prove yourself consistently. And he was off to a bad start. And now I did go back, watch the replay. It was on both of them. It was a bad snap by Connor Williams, but it was Tua who closed his hands too quick for the hut, and the ball hit his hands. And it was just bad miscommunication between both Connor and Tua. The Chargers then marched down to the field. 14 plays, 94 yards, and they get a touchdown. 3rd and 4, Justin Herbert scrambles for 5 yards. 2nd and 6, Justin Herbert deep to Keenan Allen for 36 yards. And David Long was covering Keenan Allen on that play. What the fuck was that? I have no idea. Austin Eckler for 6, 3rd and 2. Justin Herbert, another 5-yard scramble. Austin Eckler for 6 yards. Josh Kelly for 6 yards. Josh Kelly for 10 yards. 2nd and goal, Austin Eckler for 3 yards. And then Austin Eckler, 3rd and goal, gets the touchdown for the Chargers. The Dolphins, however, they answer back on the very next drive. They go 9 plays, 75 yards in just 3.5 minutes. 2nd and 10, Tua right down the middle of the field to River Craycraft for 24 yards. Raheem Mostert gets a 10-yard carry. Raheem Mostert gets a 7-yard carry down to the Charger 34. Incomplete pass by Tua, and on 3rd and 34, Ezukama with another end around for 7 yards and a first down for the Miami Dolphins, but it gets called back for holding on Connor Williams, but Tua gets it to Braxton Berrios for 11 yards, and they add on to it because Joey Bosa got a face mask on Tua. Raheem Mostert for 12 yards down to the Charger 2, and Raheem Mostert punches it in for the Dolphins touchdown. It is 7-7. Chargers, they go 3 and out. Dolphins get the ball back in the very first play. Tua goes to his man Tyreek Hill, who had such a great game today. 29 yards. They go to the Charger 48-yard line, and then another 28 yards to Tyreek Hill. So back-to-back big games from Tua to Tyreek Hill. They were on point today. 2nd and 10 at the Charger 20. Tua to Alec Ingold for 15 yards, and then this was when I had, this is when I was scratching my head about the play calling of Mike McDaniel. You have 1st and goal on the Charger 5-yard line, and he did not run the ball once. And in the offseason, he was praising how he was going to run the football and not abandon the run. When it's 1st and goal at the 5-yard line, you run the fucking ball. You run the. It's simple. That's just simple coaching. And he was negligent, and he didn't run the ball, and it costed the Dolphins a touchdown on this drive. This should have been 14-7, but instead it was 10-7 after a 23-yard field goal from Jason Sanders. But that's just bad play calling from Mike McDaniel. The Chargers, they then go 6 plays, 75 yards. They get a touchdown down at the 36-yard line, and the Dolphins defensive line gets no pressure on the offensive line, which they really didn't get pressure the entire game besides the last drive. Austin Eckler went up the middle for 55 yards and got to the Miami 9-yard line. Justin Herbert to Keenan Allen for 8 yards, and then Justin Herbert on 3rd and goal to Donald Parham for a 1-yard touchdown pass. Miami goes 3 and out. The Chargers go 3 and out after a nice stop on 3rd and 2 with a great tackle by Christian Wilkins onto Quentin Johnston. And the Dolphins, they go 12 plays, 80 yards for a touchdown in 4 minutes and 52 seconds. Tua Tagovailoa to Durham Smythe for 18 yards to start the drive. 2nd and 9, Tua at the Dolphins 39. He goes right back to Durham Smythe, man. He was throwing the ball a lot to Durham Smythe today. He actually got 7 targets in this game. So a 16-yard pickup for Durham Smythe. A false start on Isaiah Wynn. Tua to Jalen Waddle for 8 yards. 2nd and 7, incomplete to Durham Smythe. That's the play I was talking about. He's just way too aggressive on that call. And then Tua is incomplete to Tyreek Hill. And this was a ballsy call from Mike McDaniel on 4th and 7 to go for it, but it paid off. 10 yards to Durham Smythe, and it was a first down for the Miami Dolphins. Tua incomplete to Braxton Berrios at the end zone. Tua goes deep down the middle to Tyreek Hill for 19 yards. 2nd and goal. Tua to Tyreek. Tyreek gets tackled at the 8-yard line. and it's actually 1st and goal at this point. And then Tua finds River Craycraft for a 1-yard touchdown. Dolphins take the lead 17-14, but the Chargers have time to get points before halftime, and the defense allowed points. So Justin Herbert to Josh Palmer for 4 yards, 3rd and 6. Justin Herbert to Keenan Allen for 9 yards. Justin Herbert short pass to Quentin Johnston for 11 yards and a 1st down. 2nd and 9, Justin Herbert finds Donald Parham for 15 yards. And then two straight incompletions for Herbert. And then a 3-yard scramble on 3rd and 10. And the kicker, Cameron Dicker, nailed a 50-yard field goal with 9 seconds left. Now, this might have changed the game. Because you would think that, okay, there's 9 seconds left. The Dolphins are going to get the ball, and they're going to kneel it going into halftime. That's what you would think. Mike McDaniel has big ball. He's got balls, man. He is fucking aggressive. So the Dolphins run plays. 22 yards to Jalen Waddle, and then at the Dolphins 47, Tua just chucks it up to Eric Ezukama. The pass is incomplete, but J.C. Jackson pushes Eric Ezukama from behind, and he gets called for pass interference. That's just a dumb play from J.C. Jackson from the Chargers. A 30-yard pass interference play sets Jason Sanders up for a 41-yard field goal, and the Dolphins get it. They're up 20-17 instead of tied at 17 going into halftime. That was massive, man. That was massive to get those 3 points at halftime. Thank goodness for J.C. Jackson. So we got started. The Chargers got the ball, and they go 11 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Austin Eckler for 8 yards, Justin Herbert for 4 yards, 3rd and 2, Josh Kelly for 3 yards. Then Josh Kelly on 2nd and 5 for 14 yards. Austin Eckler they just ran the ball the entire time. They ran the ball down the Miami Dolphins' throat. And then 2 pass attempts from Justin Herbert. And both of those plays were called pass interference from Xavier Howard. He was not good today. Xavier Howard, a lot of penalties while it was misconduct, pass interference. Xavier Howard did not have a good game today. And this resulted in Justin Herbert getting a 1-yard run for a touchdown. Chargers take the lead 24-20. Dolphins go 9 plays, 49 yards. Tua scrambles up the middle for 7 yards for a 1st down. Tua deep pass in the middle to Tyreek Hill for 30 yards. 2nd and 9, Tua short pass to Jalen Waddle for 13 yards. Tua incomplete to River Craycraft. And on 3rd and 12 at the Chargers 26, Tua Tagovailoa forces one to Braxton Berrios, and it's intercepted by J.C. Jackson. Just was not a smart play at all. You could have possibly called pass interference on J.C. Jackson, but I'm going to blame more of that on the decision that Tua made. You just cannot force that ball like that, and it costed the Dolphins points on that drive. It costed them at least a field goal. So there you have that. It's still 24-20, but the Chargers go 3 and out, and on 3rd and 1, Kader Kohou makes a huge play with the blitz and sacks Justin Herbert, which pins the Chargers at the 1-yard line. The Dolphins go 1 play, 35 yards. Tua to Tyreek. He beats J.C. Jackson, and the Dolphins go up 27-24. Kader Kohou changing the momentum for the Miami Dolphins after that play. gets a big sack. You got a punt on your own 1 yard line. Not a good punt at all. And boom, one play, touchdown, Tyreek Hill. Let's move on. The Chargers going into the fourth quarter, or we're in the fourth quarter, and they go down and score. Shocking, right? The defense was putrid today. 2nd and 10, Justin Herbert checks it down to Austin Eckler, and it turns into a gain of 35 yards. Austin Eckler did whatever he wanted today, whether it was receiving or running on the Miami Dolphins defense. Austin Eckler for 5 yards, Austin Eckler for 5 yards, Justin Herbert to Gerald Everett for 11 yards and a first down, Joshua Kelly for 7 yards, Joshua Kelly for 3 yards, Joshua Kelly on 2nd and goal gets the 2-yard touchdown run for the Chargers, and they go up 31-27. The Dolphins go 9 plays, 48 yards. They go incomplete. Tua fumbles, but it's recovered by him. Thank God, because that would have changed momentum. The Chargers have momentum, but that would have given the Dolphins absolutely no momentum. And on 3rd and 15, Tua, with a dime to Braxton Berrios. They needed 16 yards. Braxton Berrios got him 16 yards. Great catch by Berrios and a first down for the Miami Dolphins. Tua, short left to Alec Ingold for 19 yards. Tua to Braxton Berrios down the middle for 15 yards. The Chargers challenged, and it didn't work. Dumb challenge because it was a great catch by Berrios. 2nd and 15, Tua incomplete. 3rd and 15, they get 8 yards to Raheem Mostert. Gets Jason Sanders closer for a field goal, 45 yards, and it's good. The Chargers go 13 plays, 68 yards. They kill 6 minutes, and I really thought the game was over at this point, man. I really thought the game was over. Chargers were just going to score a touchdown, possibly go for 2, and get the 2-possession lead. They're just, again, running the ball down our throat, 3rd and 1. Josh Kelly for 3 yards. 1st and 15, incomplete. 3rd and 12. At this point, this was the biggest play of the game. Dolphins got no pressure for Justin Herbert at all. He's just sitting in the pocket by himself, and he finds Mike Williams wide open. And this is what happens when you don't have a healthy secondary and you don't bring the pressure to Justin Herbert. This is what happens. Joshua Kelly for 14 yards. Herbert deep to Keenan Allen, but Xavier Howard gets called for another penalty on illegal contact for 5 yards. So they're at the Miami 12. Austin Eckler for 1 yard. Austin Eckler for 4 yards. 3rd and goal. Justin Herbert incomplete in the end zone to Mike Williams. And the Dolphins hold the Chargers to a field goal. And they were up 34-30. And this drive right here, this is when they needed the game. They were down by 4 points, and they need a touchdown. And this is a very similar situation to the Ravens game last year, where late in the game, the Dolphins defense held the Ravens to a field goal, and the Dolphins went down, and they got a touchdown. Dolphins go 8 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes. Excuse me. I did not mean to sneeze on time there. They got a touchdown. That's what I wanted to say. Incomplete to Savon Ahmed. Second down. Savon Ahmed. 1 yard catch. My goodness. I'm sorry. They said it was a fumble on the play for the Chargers, which was a touchdown, but clearly Savon Ahmed had no possession of the ball at all. He didn't even make a move with the ball, so definitely an incomplete pass there. And on 3rd and 10, Tua, biggest play of the game, steps up and finds his man, Tyreek Hill, for 47 yards. And that got Tyreek Hill over 200 yards receiving. Raheem Mostert for 4 yards. Tua down the middle to River Craycraft for 15 yards. Tua incomplete. Finds Raheem Mostert for 5 yards. And on third and goal, it's Tyreek versus Michael Davis. 1-on-1. Tyreek wins. Tua throws it up to him. Tyreek comes down. And he gets the touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. Touchdown Dolphins. But the extra point was no good. It was no good. So the Dolphins defense had to make a stand. And on the first play, Justin Herbert finds Gerald Everett for 10 yards and they get a first down. Intentional grounding is called on Herbert after he throws it incomplete. He throws it to no one near the area when the Dolphins got pressure to him. So it's 2nd and 21, and Zach Zeeler comes in for the sack combined with Christian Wilkins for an 8-yard loss. Then Justin Herbert finds Mike Williams for 17 yards. 4th and 12, game on the line, sacked by Jalen Phillips, and your Miami Dolphins are 1-0. The Miami Dolphins start the season 1-0, and they get the win in Los Angeles. We got our revenge. We got our revenge from last season. Last year was a totally different game from this. Because last year, the defense was picking up the slack from the offense, and it was keeping them in the game. Now, ultimately, the defense didn't play good enough to win that game. Today, the Dolphins' offense had to keep up the slack of the defense, and the offense was magnificent today. And they were good enough to get the win. Tua Tagovailoa is him. Tua is him. Now, do I expect to see this every week from Tua? No, I don't. I'm just going to be blatantly honest. I don't expect this every week from Tua Tagovailoa. What I do expect more is Mike McDaniel needs to run the football. And you cannot be having Tua drop back 45 times a game to throw the ball. Because eventually, teams are going to catch on to it, and it's going to cost you games. Another thing that needs to be fixed is the Vic Fangio defense. Because all season long, the Dolphins' Twitter were singing like birds about Vic Fangio and his defense. Made big plays at the end of the game. I'm going to absolutely give them credit for that. But for 58 minutes of this game, they were dog shit. For 2 minutes of the game, they were great. And we got big plays for them to win the game. But we cannot be getting in shootouts every single week. It just cannot happen. But as far as Tua goes, man, fucking elite performance today. Offense put up 36 points. We got the win. We're 1-0. Best game on the entire slate today. And now we are 1-0 going into Foxborough next week. And we got a little bit of prime time action against the New England Patriots next Sunday night. Oh, boy. I'm excited for that one, man. The Patriots dropped one today to the Philadelphia Eagles, 25-20. I did not watch the game, of course, because I was watching the Miami Dolphins, so I will catch that one when I get a chance. Go back and watch the highlights of the game. But, man, I'm very happy we pulled out the W. With Teron Armstead out, being ruled out on Friday, I did not expect. I'm going to be blatantly honest. I did not expect the Miami Dolphins to win today. But 3 keys as to why the Dolphins won today. Number 1, Tua Tagovailoa was elite. Number 2, the wide receivers were really fucking good, and they made some great catches. And number 3, the offensive line stepped up without Teron Armstead, Kendall Lamb, Isaiah Wynn, Robert Hunt, Connor Williams blocking. Austin Jackson stepped up today. All of them deserve a nice pat on the back. Now keep it up. Don't go into next week and look like a complete shit show against the Patriots, because they got another nasty another nasty pass rush duo in Matthew Judon and Josh Uche. We will talk about that next week when we get to that. That's a huge game that's going to be played in front of the entire world. But man, I'm going to celebrate this, and I'll be back with a video next week. I might or might not make a video before the preview on Thursday, so we'll see about that. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on the Miami Dolphins getting this win over the Los Angeles Chargers, 36-34, man. Let me know down below if you're a Dolphins fan, if you're a Chargers fan. And if you're a Chargers fan, no hate whatsoever. I respect it. Great game today. You guys beat us last year, and we beat you this year. In the Tua Herbert era, Tua has it over Herbert 2-1. We are fair. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me, and follow me on Twitter at @comment_Joseph. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy. And I'm out. Peace. Fins up.